This has to be one of the most frustrating movies I've watched in a really long time because Civil War is not the movie that you think it is. And without getting into spoilers, no, I'm not just talking about the actual Civil War itself and this being like a big action film. I mean more so in its approach to teeter around and tiptoe around the actual subject at large, because I wasn't expecting Alex Garland to turn into Roland Emmerich overnight. So I had an inkling that this was going to be a much more intimate story, and that's the approach they take here. They decide to focus on the journalists and war photographers of this fictional American Civil War as it takes them on a road trip from New York City to Washington, D.C. First things first, if you were expecting to learn anything about the lore of this Civil War and what they showed us in this map, they don't explain it at all. You might as well call this a fantasy if you got California and Texas teaming up. Which leads me back to my frustration, because honestly, there's a lot of moments in this movie where I felt like fully enthralled and a part of this crazy thrill ride. Like, there are a lot of really good, genuine, tense moments in this film. Haunting imagery, there's like 2 or 3 things off the top of my head that's probably gonna stick with me. And it's just scary to think that this could actually happen. I think most of the cast is pretty damn good, like Kirsten Dunst, who plays a veteran war photographer, like the seasoned vet taking Kaylee Spaney's much more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed war photographer under her wing. And I really like the dynamic between the two because it's really like looking in 2 different mirrors for each of them, one in the future and then one in the past. I also absolutely love Stephen McKinley Henderson in this movie. He can never do any wrong. Plus, his name is Sammy in the movie. I caught that. Nick Offerman plays like this Trump-esque president. I was hoping he would just be Ron Swanson with an upgrade, but he's really like barely in this movie anyway to really care. By the way, they have him hide under the Oval Office chair. Like, why is he actually in the White House when all this shit's holding? But hands down, it's Jesse Plemons who steals the show. And again, he's in this movie for like maybe 5 minutes, but this was easily the best scene in the entire movie for me. Just look at all the aura that's oozing out of Jesse Plemons. At the end of the day, I didn't really get much from Civil War, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like this is a movie made for people who just don't vote. And when it feels like this movie's actually gonna have something to say, it just stays so fucking vague. It just really felt like empty calories for me. But I am gonna love to hear other people's perspectives on this, because honestly, this is one of the most divisive films that I've seen in a really long time. I've seen people rate this really highly and also really lowly. I'm somewhere like in between. I feel like maybe I need another rewatch to really solidify my thoughts. One thing is for sure, I think you should watch it and form your own opinion. I think the theater experience for this one is definitely something that you should entertain. At the end of the day, now I know why Alex Garland prefers writing over directing. But if you haven't seen Annihilation, watch Annihilation. I ended up giving Civil War 2.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. And don't forget to follow me on Letterboxd. I like to think of myself as like the thinking man, and that's my diary where I pour out all my heart and soul. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you going to be checking out Civil War this weekend? As always, like and follow.